Hey guys, what's up, and welcome to my video on the balance changes for update 2.9.1, which is the hotfix that SEMC just recently pushed to help address some of those balance changes that took place over update 2.9. Now, starting with Glaive, he had his Bloodsong life steal per stack reverted back to the original 1 per stack, and his HP increased by plus 60. So they're making Glaive a bit tankier and also allowing him to have that sustain build, because previously on just straight update 2.9, Glaive was in a position where you kind of had to build critical strike or nothing. This might make that Poison Shiv based build for Glaive a bit more viable, and we're going to bring Glaive back into the meta because he was kind of getting outdone by the likes of BLACKFEATHER as a sort of a melee weapon power assassin, and now Glaive might find his way back into that position, so I'm happy to see this here for Glaive. Now, GRUMPJAW's had his attack speed on his Hangry increased by 10%, and it's very, very, very good for his early game, especially that level 1 trades, or level 2 trades, which are so important in the jungle right now. So this again makes GRUMPJAW a very powerful adversary at level 2 specifically, and with the tension bow buffs that we're going to talk about later in this video, the tension bow double monocle build could be viable once more, and we could see a very, very powerful jungler making his way back. We'll have to see, because REIM has been nerfed as well. GRUMPJAW might find himself in a really good position given these changes, as well as the rest of the changes to the heroes in the jungle. So I'm interested to see if he gets picked up in the current meta. Now, Baron had complete revert of the nerfs that he's had over the last few months. Now, that might strike you as odd, but given the HP increase on all the heroes, I think that's kind of needed, because now everybody is tankier, so Baron just wasn't doing enough damage given his attack speed scaling, and I think this is a good change. But with the lower armor on everybody, that crit build from Baron is suddenly going to become that much more powerful. Those hits are going to be hitting insane numbers in the late game, and suddenly we might see Baron really shining as a powerful pick in lane once more. We'll have to see. I think that could be the case, especially that the Celeste and SKAARF meta is still kind of around, as well as BLACKFEATHER getting nerfed as well. Baron might find himself a solid place in the meta. Now, SKAARF was actually really weak on this update. He needed the old Broken Myth for teamfights. The way that SKAARF worked is you built Broken Myth stacks, and once you hit between 6 and 9, you channeled your Dragon's Breath with the amazing pierce that it provided for insane damage because of the damage, obviously, ability scaling that Broken Myth provides you. Because Broken Myth, old Broken Myth, no longer exists, this should help SKAARF with current CP builds, meaning that he can work a bit better with Dragon's Eye, and I think you'll find that SKAARF will be pretty solidly set to sort of play from the meta, because he was kind of weak on update 2.9. I think the changes were needed. This is a change that makes me really happy. Lance was one of the most durable roams pre-2.9. He didn't really benefit from the health changes, and his armor and shielding went down by a considerable amount, meaning that his effective HP got a lot worse. And Lance is one of those heroes that if you miss your impale, you commit very hard to a fight, and you're going to take a lot of damage in return. Lance just wasn't tanky enough on this update, and with the changes to his armor and shielding scaling, this will just make his effective HP a little bit better, which might help him be a bit more durable in the late game, which I think is one of where Lance was kind of falling down in this current update, just wasn't as durable as the other captain heroes. Now on to the nerfs. The defense and HP nerfs were absolutely necessary for BLACKFEATHER. He was almost unkillable given how tanky he was and how well he synergized with a sustain-based build in the Serpent's Mask and the Breaking Point. The Faint of Heart execute damage nerfs, they're pretty substantial. That's basically halving the execute damage from where it was originally. Now, he was doing insane numbers with that, and because of the max HP increases, it was hitting very, very, very hard. I think this will put BLACKFEATHER in a similar position to where he was pre-health changes. He will definitely be viable in the right situation, but you're not going to be able to just spam pick BLACKFEATHER first pick anymore, and I think that is necessary. Now, for those of you that have been playing against REIM recently, you'll be knowing that he was doing pretty insane damage with his Winter Spire specifically, and because his Winter Spire was doing insane damage, he was also generating insane sustain with that fortified health. This will definitely cut his sustain a little bit, and also will hurt a little bit less if you get caught by the Winter's Spire. It's not a ridiculous nerf, but it's definitely a nerf that tunes REIM down to make him more of a situational pick, because people were just picking him blind, first pick in a lot of scenarios, and that's kind of not what REIM was there for. REIM is the ultimate anti-melee hero, and he kind of needs to have that place in the meta, because he's very oppressive to play against if he's not picked in that scenario. Now, finally, Tension Bow. Tension Bow's flat damage was increased by 33%, and then given an average base HP of increase at level 12 of 44%, this will definitely help Tension Bow be relevant in the early game again. And especially now that the piercing works the way it does, extra damage on Tension Bow is going to help it scale just that bit better. But it definitely makes Tension Bow viable early again if you want to try and snowball with it, or if you're facing up against carries who are not going to build armor. So much needed change to Tension Bow given the health changes, and definitely means that you guys can look to consider that in your weapon power build paths on this update now those changes have taken place. There we go. I was going to do a meta video, but unfortunately, because of these changes, we're going to now have to see how things shape up. I'm going to do builds and meta, hopefully, over the course of this next week. Once we have an idea about what is strong, what builds are strong, because of the massive changes, it's going to take me a little bit more time to analyze, but the videos will be coming, guys. Thank you very much, and I will see you again next time.